as a dino clone done dented in my man Trent's chest. But this wannabe gangster started getting the cramps mid-battle, had him feeling a little dizzy. And this man Trent is an opportunist, he did not hesitate to capitalize. Man done pulled out the forefather saber and showed him 7 years ago he still wasn't shit. Y'all asked for it and your boy delivered. Today we are talking about one of my favorite Power Ranger series, that being Dino Thunder. And I'm here to tell you about the White Dino Ranger, aka Trent. And I can tell you now, my boy Trent is from the trenches. No? Okay, let me stop. But no, let me be serious. This guy is on a different type of evil. Low-key might be the evilest character that we have covered on this channel, as this man almost did a feat that no other character that I have or will cover has done. As the White Dino Ranger was so evil, he almost single-handedly ended the Super Sentai and Power Rangers as a franchise. Put a pin in that and we will get back to that later. It is important to let you know what Trent's all about first. Funny enough, Trent actually has a similar story to Tommy Oliver, as before becoming an official member of the team, my boy was wreaking havoc in these boys' life on the daily. Man was trying to eradicate them. And you know boy didn't have a chance in life when you come to find out that his dad was the big bad of the series. Cause unbeknownst to him, his dad was over here being Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, the Lizard Edition. And I'm just gonna say that man didn't hide the evil intent very well, as his son got sussy of him immediately and followed him into his secret lair. This is where Trent discovers the White Dino Gem and gets Ben Tennyson on screen. That device wanted that action. It was showing them all the hood rat stuff they were finna get into. And my mans was down to commit all the atrocities and said bet that, which would lead to the biggest Power Ranger crash out ever recorded in history. But Mezagog was not happy that someone had broke in and stole his new toy, so he done sent one of his minions out to go and collect and locate this White Dino Gem. But the Dino Rangers realized the ops were walking on their turf and they cannot let that slide, so they meet up ready to give man a dino jump. That was until the White Ranger done came out of nowhere with his sonic speed, gotta go fast having ass. Man was moving around the screen so fast that Power Rangers themselves couldn't keep up. They done thought the man was lag switching, and before they even realized what really happened, the man had already defeated the monster in skedaddle. The Rangers were befuddled. They weren't just about to let any Ranger done take their duties from them. So they look around trying to see the White Ranger, and the boy says, look a little closer. As you can see, I got it on. And oh man, the Red Ranger done peeped the power level different. He done called up Tommy Oliver to double check like, yo, do you know this man? Have you seen him at the power scaling conventions? Boy look like he the main character all of a sudden. Are we good? And Tommy tries to warn him like, no, you need to get out of there. This man's drip is off the chart. Code wet floor. But it was too late, as a White Ranger was ready to contradict himself. His man said, don't make me do something I don't want to do, and then proceeded to do the thing he said he didn't want to do. As man pulls out the forefather saber and hit them with the signature, boy was ready to drop the hottest verse of the summer. Then man just showed us that his pen game fire, as man made so many arrows he was ready to Swiss cheese the Power Rangers, as he proceeded to do. Man, they felt so embarrassed getting their butt whooped by one single Ranger, they had to go back to Tommy to look over the fight footage. Man hit him with the, in my conclusion, y'all cook. But the Rangers knew they weren't gonna go down like that. They wanted to get their get back and get it back in blood. Luckily for them, they only had to wait a couple minutes and boys showed back up for another round 2. Sadly for the Rangers, this one would be a lot worse. Rangers pull up like, yo, we must have got off on the wrong foot because you done destroyed our monster of the week, big fella. The White Ranger different, cause he's like, nah, don't worry, I'll be your monster of the month for you.
What did he say?
So the Rangers said, F that, we crashing out, and decide to bum rush the man. But the White Ranger already about to show us how he really different, because as they are going full speed to their death to this man, he just casually strolls on by them, giving them the tippity tap tap to their chest and having them flying back. These three really thought they was the heroes of the story until the White Ranger came on the scene and said, nope, this is about to be a reverse jumping. And man, I felt bad for the Rangers because it felt like a setup. It felt like someone was trying to get them out of there. As man done kicked in the sonic speed again and started carving X's on their chests. Man hit them with the time skip mark. Thought they was looking for the One Piece all of a sudden. But if turning him to an anime character wasn't enough, he done made him explode right after. And you could tell that the Power Rangers got that butt whooping clarity after, as they start trying to switch tactics. Like, man, we were just trying to extend the olive branch, big fella. And this man, Trent, done said one of the coldest lines back to him.
There are 3 Rangers too many.
and I'm here to change that.
Nah, bro, done had 5 minutes of screen time and he already trying to be numero uno. Man done really tried to put the Dino Rangers into the unemployment line. But our Rangers ain't ready to collect any food stamps anytime soon, so they get back up ready to throw these ones. But not learning a single thing in this fight thus far, done try to swing together just to get buried. And you could tell that they was getting pissed. The Blue Ranger is definitely the crash out of the group, cause this man's first thought after getting his butt whooped was to pull out the blicky. Boy done shot his shot just to get that thing ricocheted right back to him. And in real crash out fashion, instead of learning from his mistakes, decides to pull out the blicky again. Yo, Tommy Oliver was done watching from the sidelines. He done had to come in like, yo, everybody just chill. I gotta keep it a buck with y'all. I saw it on the monitor. He had y'all looking like some bozos. And the ex-menace Tommy Oliver's just trying to be the voice of reason like, yo, what do you want, big fella? And man, the White Ranger got one-lines for days as he hits him with the
to defeat you.
Oh, and the Rangers had it from there. They was done with the smack talking over the situation. So the White Ranger obliged them by throwing them over the balcony. But the White Ranger was cooking up the stir fry, so he jumped right down with them. And they knew they couldn't hold back, so they done brought out the Ranger weapons just to get parried by a feather. Man had to have that Vicodin in his writing pen because they had him unmorphing when he slapped it upside of him. And Tommy Oliver wasn't just about to sit there and let his students get whooped in front of him, so he decided to let his nuts hang.
Cause I let my nuts hang.
And jumped into action. But then I was witness to something I never thought I would see as the White Ranger done one-shotted Tommy Oliver. Man done zippity zapped him out of his own transformation. Who is this man? I'm starting to be scared. So the Red Ranger done came in like the #1 draft pick and got the sack on the man. And you could tell the White Ranger was ready to cook up some more, but he's like, you know what? I done did enough for my debut. I'll be seeing ya, and dips out. And the Rangers have a group huddle back at the headquarters, realizing they're as this Ranger is just too evil for them to handle. And speaking of evil Rangers, things are starting to sound a little familiar, aren't they? I mean, there's a reason why Dino Thunder is one of my favorites, as they do this really cool symbolic thing when it comes to Tommy Oliver and the White Ranger. Even with him not knowing that he's Trent yet, he does sympathize with the White Ranger because he knows that there is a person behind that mask. As he was a Green Ranger, he knows that he might be doing some things that he might not want to be doing himself. As we do explore in these episodes, as we see Trent really going through it, almost looking like a junkie going through withdrawals. Man's in the back alley fighting his demons. It was really scary watching as a kid. And to think that Trent's going through that is the same thing that Tommy Oliver goes through in other medias that we watch him in. As he was just really lucky to have the friends that he had that saved him from Rita's curse and forgave him for all his misdoings, even though we see that he probably hasn't forgiven himself for everything he's done, as he even tackled it in its own episode. So that's a reason why he tells his students to take it easy on the White Ranger, because he doesn't want to do something that's irreversible. Just as he had the chance to become the greatest Ranger of all time, he wants that for Trent. And while going on his own solo mission, does find out that the White Ranger is Trent, which leads to these mans having to throw hands yet again. And I could tell you now that the White Ranger reckless because you couldn't pay me enough to fight the Green Ranger. If I saw Tommy Oliver fighting a pack of bears, I'd help the bear. Man is on a different level, and the White Ranger has challenged this man multiple times to Mortal Kombat. This pterodactyl did not care he was fighting against Godzilla and somehow was fleecing him just a little bit. But in a series of unfortunate events, something truly terrifying and horrible was fitting to happen, as he done turned Tommy Oliver into a fossil. Man had him looking like he was stuck in carbonite. And I ain't gonna lie to you, when I was a kid watching this, I really thought it was Rip Tommy Oliver. I was actually frightened. I done thought I was about to lose my favorite Power Ranger forever. I'm looking at the other Rangers like GG's, game over. This man has actually won. Man even hit the Boot Gang off the Rangers and took their swords and got his own just like the Green Ranger did. Man say he is the Green Ranger reincarnated. You have to understand why this was so scary to me and others is because usually it's some evil monster doing it that you could disassociate with. But this was an actual person against their will committing atrocities. It was really frightening. But if you're thinking to yourself, Shaman, you're being a little too dramatic. It's a kid show. It can't be that bad. I think it's time to finally bring up what I alluded to in the beginning of this video and explain to you how the White Ranger almost spelled doom for the Power Rangers in Super Sentai franchise in real life. And I will say that I happened upon a lot of this information from another Power Ranger tuber known as Etse. And I would have not have known this if I didn't watch this video, so I highly recommend if you want to know more about this topic, as he goes more in depth on it, and it's a really killer video. I'll link it down in the description below and you can check it out after this video. as your boy Shaman is about to give you the funny Cliff Notes verse starting now. See, if you watch just the Power Ranger version, you know that Trent eventually becomes good. You know, get that nice America happy ending. But his Super Sentai version was evil through and through. His name was literally called the Aubrey Killer. Boy's one and only mission was to erase the Power Ranger. And this absolutely frightened the children, as well as the advertisers, had them wanting to hit that big red button, saying if they did not fix this problem and make this more kid-friendly, they were going to be pulling their funds from the show. And they weren't the only ones to be feeling this way, as Bandai, the toy makers of all the Power Rangers and Super Sentai product, were like, nah, we cannot sell this man to nobody. Now, mind you, that this season of Dino Thunder was wild in the Super Sentai version. They had a love scene with the Black Ranger and his wife, and a Logan Paul in the Forest episode, both in a show marketed to kids. And with that in mind, their only issue with the show was the White Ranger is too evil. So this was a problem that the showrunners had to solve, which they did, as instead of going through their initial plan of man just dying evil, they gave him a redemption arc and let him come to the side of good before killing him off. With that, they were able to save the series, but it is wild to think that one character was so evil that he almost led to the cancellation of Super Sentai and by proxy the Power Rangers.
Don't let your kids watch it!
Man, almost Thanos snapped half your childhood away. I don't even know where to place this man on the power scale. He just different. But now this leads to a problem for the American Power Ranger version, because they don't want to go through the same controversies and troubles that the Super Sentai show did, but they also want to use the footage because they can save a lot of money by doing so. So they decided to do the Miles Morales thing and say, nah, I'm gonna do my own thing, and fix the lack of footage they would have been able to use by adding in an evil clone. And with that idea in mind, they were able to make Trent a good guy way faster. Even though he doesn't get to morph for a couple episodes, he's still a pretty cool bench warmer. And they just get to say that the evil clone is the one doing all the bad stuff now. So I guess win-win. But because the Rangers decided to go in their own direction, we got a Power Ranger exclusive fight scene, one of the coldest scenes in Power Ranger history, being a battle of the doppelgangers. And man, this was setting up to be one of the most epic battles, as a clone realized he was not living up to his full potential. Man was getting his butt whooped by the Rangers on the daily now. Even got his swords taken back from him. And this clone said, enough is enough. It's time to erase somebody. So man hits the instant teleport over to Trent, the real White Ranger, and they was about to have a scrap off. And man, Trent can act like he a pacifist all of a sudden, but I knew he got that dog in him, as man didn't even hesitate to morph on sight. Boy, the clone off rip knew that he wasn't touching the original recipe and decided to go Dino mode off rip. And Dino clone over here came in with the Baraka choppers, ready to slice and dice Trent. But man didn't realize that Trent was part of the money gang, as he was bobbing and weaving all over the place. Man, Mezagok and his mistress were watching this on the big screen. They didn't even know who to root for anymore. They was hoping for the double KO, as the Dino clone done dented in my man Trent's chest. So this wannabe gangster started getting the cramps mid-battle, had him feeling a little dizzy. And this man Trent is an opportunist. He did not hesitate to capitalize. Man done pulled out the forefather saber and showed him 7 years ago he still wasn't shit. Boy, Trent thought he was in a kung fu movie for a minute, because he started breaking out the choreography, even hit the man with a backflip as a dog, and went straight into a roundhouse kick to the side of the man's face. Oh, and I know that Trent had a Buddha Kingdom Hearts that get this quote, because he looked at the clone like, yo, you don't even have a soul. He done talked to him like he was a nobody. Dino clone look at him like, oh, really? Bet that. You better start hitting triangle, as my man then came out swinging with a wild fury of attacks. Okay, I'm gonna stop. But these two White Rangers decided it's time to finally put an end to this charade, as they done hit the camera with a samurai showdown final chop, as the Dino clone knows that he is cooked and looks back at Trent like, you still a bitch, then proceeds to blow up. But after this, Trent became one of the greatest Rangers of all time, and even took out his own pops and decided to help the Rangers the best he could. Him and Dino Thunder even end up crossing over with SPD, but I'm gonna save that for another video. Oh, and here's what's up next. All y'all votes came in loud and clear, and Blake and Hunter, the dastardly duo, about to be the next big Power Ranger video we do. But if you're looking at the video, there's still a little bit of time left. Well, I just didn't feel right unless I announced this next thing in this video as well. I know my man lost the vote, but I have been seeing the comments and love for this character for the months. And I felt like if I didn't cover him, y'all would have my head. But nah, I'm playing. But for real, I do see all y'all comments and I love all the support. And I just love all the Power Ranger love on top of it too. And hey, I am doing this content for you. So the one thing I'm going to emphasize and ask again, if you are enjoying the content as a new or returning viewer and you are not subscribed yet, please consider it. It truly does help the channel immensely and helps me to keep improving content for y'all. And hey, if we hit our goal of 100K this year, that's just a bonus. But honestly, I hope all y'all have a great 2025, and I just hope that I can keep entertaining y'all. And if you're looking for something to watch, I definitely recommend our last video talking about the Shadow Ranger and how he got that dog in him. But if you want something different for Power Rangers, I definitely recommend our DC content when I talk about Batman faces the Squad. What's poppin'? It's Shaman. I love you. Peace.